Good morning, it's Dave Thackeray from thepodcastguy.com. You've probably realised that from looking at the screen in front of you. Teaching Granny to suck eggs again. Today we're going to be talking about why to use PowerPress for your WordPress website, and quite succinctly how to get it working, and more importantly what happens next. So I'm just going to take you over to the back end of my WordPress site. This is davethackray.com. First thing you need to do is install the PowerPress plugin. So I want you to go all the way down to plugins, then add new. And what you type in here, just simply check PowerPress. Now the full title of this plugin is Blubrry PowerPress podcasting plugin, but you don't need to worry about that. PowerPress will get you there, and once you find it in the list, click on install now for this plugin. Okay, once you've done that, go down to the bottom in the sidebar, click on PowerPress, and this will take you to the main interface. Now there really are only a couple of things that you need to be thinking about when you do this. Number one is go straight down to the bottom and click on category podcasting. What this allows you to do is separate your podcast feed from the feed for your main website. There may be a million reasons to do this, but listen, just the one for you now, just quick tip. If people subscribe to your blog and it's got lots of information in it, chances are they won't want the podcast in the same feed. If podcasters or people who want to listen to your podcast just want the podcast, because there's a lot of noise in the world and you want to be specific, then category podcasting is the way to go. It takes away the podcast feed from the rest of the great content that's being pushed out from your website. So that's very important. The second thing that you need to be aware of here is in services and stats. I'm not going to go into this today, but in brief, what services and stats lets you do is tie in with the Blubrry statistics service, which you can set up separately at blubrry.com. That's Blubrry without the E from the fruit, and that in turn will allow you to understand how many people are downloading your podcast, how many people are listening to specific episodes of your podcast. One for another day. The next thing you need to do is go down to PowerPress and then category podcasting. Now you'll need to set up a separate category for your podcast in order for this to work. And what this will show you on this page is tell me which category relates to the category of posts that are the show notes for each individual podcast episode. So I could select the category, and if I was going to create a podcast, I would have podcast in the category here. But you just please first go to categories and create a category specific to your podcast episodes. Let me just tell you now, each individual post on WordPress in the podcast category represents an episode. Very clear and very important for you to get that clear in your head. Okay, the last element now that we need to think about before we can actually push this feed to feedburner.com, and that again is for another day, is to create a post. And that post should have the show notes for your episode on it once you've created your podcast episode. So you go through the normal stuff, title, insert stuff into the body of your podcast post, and then go down to the bottom. And once you've hosted your podcast episode somewhere on the web, you may choose to host it at libsyn.com or on your own web hosting service. You type in the URL there, verify it, it will give you a nice green bar saying yeah, that's great, or if you've recorded and saved in mono, it will say there may be issues, but it's okay. So once you've done that and you've saved your post as you would normally do and published it, that will have created an episode that you can then add to the feed for your podcast. And coming up next, feedburner.com to show you exactly what it takes to create a podcast feed that you can then take to iTunes and all the other podcasting directories. This has been Dave Thackeray from thepodcastguy.com talking about the Blubrry PowerPress WordPress plugin.